Good afternoon, everybody, or evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to the next set of LCUS games. This is week 3 of our second split of our first season. I am Kenos, joined today by Nickelbacher and Sigtau Lord. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic.
Fantastic.
All right.
Ooh.
Jinxes all around. Wonderful. So, for the set of games we have for you guys today, as you can see on the screen in front of you now, our first game set will be between Take the Lantern and Northern Storm, then Triple Strike versus White Wolf, and Cowbell versus Option 12. If we take a quick look at the standings before we dive into the individual matchups, Option 12 and White Wolf are both tied in first place with 4 points apiece. Um, so that, of course, see who can jockey there for first place. Of course, very much within striking distance. Triple Strike could get up there if they win both their games today. Northern Storm could even take the lead, depending how things go for White Wolf and Option 12. And, of course, Take the Lantern and Cowbell are still very much in it, especially because they don't end up playing each other this week. So they could both rise up as well. Very close split so far. Excellent, excellent. What do you think about how these games are looking today, Sig?
I'm really excited to see if Team Triple Strike's going to be able to return to their prior glory of strong players and strong team performance to break this splitting the match where they get one win, one loss. I'm excited to see if they're able to grow out of that, and I'm wanting to see if we finally start to see this tie broke in the top tier between Option 12 and White Wolf.
Yeah, definitely. So going into our the first set of games we have here, Take the Lantern versus Northern Storm. Nickel, what do you hope to see out of this matchup? You got your eye on anywhere in particular?
Oh, we're gonna have to looking at the top lane, and I do believe we have a clip to show later. But Northern Storm has been showing off that they've been pretty good at bullying lanes. I mean, we saw it last week with the Scion versus the. I'm gonna call him Sobek, but that's not his name. I'm having trouble.
Renekton. We was against Renekton
Renekton,
primarily.
yes. Playing too much Assassin's Creed Origins. But anyways, yeah, it was just amazing bullying going on in the top lane. There's still a very strong team overall. It's going to be interesting first set matchup right away.
Yeah, definitely. And we did have that clip playing while you were talking there. Worth noting that, of course, the ganking was really
Perfect.
good up there too.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and so that is always something you got to look out for when you're up against Northern Storm, is the ganking coming out of Lee.
Hmm.
And then how about some of the other lanes? Sig, tell me a little bit about that. You got your eye on any other lanes this for this match?
Now, support will always be the apple of my eye, but I'm very excited for the mid lane matchup that we're going to see between Sigtal Infinite and the player's name escapes me. Sorry, just one second. Mid laner for Team Take the Lantern.
Believe that's five Loco, I think.
No, I think he's top it. Oh man,
How
um,
embarrassing.
super embarrassing. I apologize, but I'm excited because with the focus with the meta change that we've
Huge.
seen happening right now, huge. Thank you. With the meta change that we've seen right now, we're going to see a rotation towards mages. And with Sigtar Infinite being so assassin heavy in his champion pool, I want to see how this affects gameplay.
Hmm. Yeah, it's always interesting seeing how mages versus assassins end up playing out. Definitely speaks to the skill of the player on both sides. The assassin knowing when to jump in, and the mage knowing how to deal with it when the assassin does engage. Um, and then, of course, on the bot lane, we've been seeing a lot of really good bot lane performances so far this split. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that and seeing how that impacts the game, especially because, like we said, when you're a bot lane or any lane up against Northern Storm's Fat Lee, that can be quite the quite the problem to have to deal with. So seeing how that works out for them will be important. Um,
Could
also worth noting, Take the Lantern is going to have a new support. Die by Titan is going to be subbing in, so they're losing their one ban on their tier one for the first game. So worth noting that as well. That could impact the first game as well. Maybe let Udyr through for Fat Lee or something like that.
For sure. It's going to be an interesting bot lane matchup as well, having a random support come in. That's going to be a little bit on the bad side for that team. Well, we'll have to see, though. Who knows? If he's a pro player like Sig, we know that he'll be an awesome support.
Yeah, for sure. We might actually be able to get the game started a little bit earlier here than the 5:30 mark. And also, like you said, it's definitely a question of coordination versus maybe surprise champion picks. Because with Die by Titan subbing in here, that coordination may be lost in the bot lane, which could be unfortunate for Take the Lantern. But also, maybe Die by Titan mains someone like Nautilus, who Northern Storm isn't expecting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, support really isn't that too much of a targeted ban, unless they're towards the last picks. But it just opens up other possibilities to target ban other people. So it's going to be a pain point again, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, oh, go ahead, Sig.
Oh, sorry. Looking at it, he does play a whole lot of tank supports, so I don't know if we'll see that ban come across. But back to the top lane matchup, we're going to see tanks up in. With this Banner of Command meta that we're looking at right now, it's going to be very team and siege emphasis. So I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Well, we do see Shaken's play of Scion has impacted how Take the Lantern chooses to approach this match. Taking that out of his hands right away.
Oh, you got to. With Banner of Command, those top lane pushes become much more threatening, and Scion's one of the biggest tanks available right now. Honestly, tier 1 tank compared to some of the other choices.
Yeah, a lot of durability getting banned up here. And take out the good here. Good pick up there. Interested to see what the first couple of picks are going to be here as well. If Take the Lantern's going to try to use their pick as a third ban, or if they're just going to try to lock in somebody who they don't want to lose.
Twitch ban. I think that was definitely targeted. So that's going to put Menards in a situation.
Well, let's see what happens here with the first pick coming out. Ooh, Sejuani, alright. Establishing jungle early.
That's going to put some pick pressure on Team Northern Storm. They're going to have to make sure they don't waste that, or else those last two bans don't go towards the jungle, limiting Fat Lee's pool. But I mean, it's Fat Lee. The man gives advice to Gravity about how to apply pressure. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what you can always guarantee on with Fat Lee. He knows what he's doing. Caitlyn as a first pickup for the ADC role. Interested to see if this Riven ends up being locked in. Nope, last second switch to Xin. Alright, so most likely a Xin jungle then?
I was looking forward to that Riven jungle myself.
Well, with the Xin in jungle, well, assuming Xin is in jungle, that'll be interesting to see how the Xin Sedge matchups work. Xin, of course, was helped Triple Strike last season get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Top lane's poking about here. Pantheon, alright.
I'm very excited right now, because right now Five Loco's floating over top of Teleport. So the amount of mobility he's going to have with Teleport and his ultimate is going to be very easy to maintain map control. It's a very strong team so far to do so.
It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to use this Pantheon, because Pantheon is typically a very aggressive early game champion. So seeing if they decide to take advantage of that with the rest of their team will be something to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a tough top lane to go against, depending on who Northern Storm picks.
Alright, so ADC and support focus are most likely what we'll be looking at for the last two bans coming out of Northern Storm.
Now with two carry positions down, this does give Team Take the Lantern a lot of ability to limit those top lane choices in this meta right now. Heavy tank emphasis, but it looks like they are going to target the mid lane with a
Talia.
Sand Wizard with her ban.
It's actually Rocks. Let's get this straight here. No.
Rock.
Listen here, you pretentious little man. Sand is just really tiny rocks.
All right, so taking out the Trist. Both a lot of ADC bans coming out of Northern Storm here for game one. Interested to see if they do ban out someone in the mid or top lane here for their last pick on Take the Lantern side. I would lean toward top lane myself, like get rid of Kled, maybe. But it's possible Kled has not crossed their mind.
They're taking a long thought about it. Honestly,
Definitely.
just to make it so that Shaken can't do a split push. Just
Alright, for sure. So we'll see if Kled gets picked up here. I don't know how well Kled goes into Pantheon, but... Yep.
Profit call right there.
Oh well. They had their chance, but they were more scared of Zed. We'll see how it works out for them. So yeah, like I said, interested to see who the mid lane is. If they end up running with an assassin, or if they'll go with someone who will more, be a little more artillery like Ziggs. And we see the Varus again.
I think the best pick for Northern Storm right now into this composition that's so team controlling the sorry folks, got tongue tied. It's all about controlling objectives here. I think it's going to be a strong team fighter. I'd love to see someone like Syndra come across. She fits very well into the meta.
Malzahar is not a horrible choice. I mean, I don't know how I feel about Malzahar necessarily. Obviously, when Pantheon jumps on everyone's face, you can shut that down really fast. But, I mean, I'm not looking at Take the Lantern right now and seeing a champion that you need to lock down. I mean, obviously beyond the basic carries of Varus and Pantheon, just normal targets, not anyone who's like, oh man, if Malzahar doesn't lock this down, it's game over. What are you guys' thoughts on that pick?
I think it's a solid pick that fits well with the mobility that Kled provides and with some of the assistance that Braum can provide in team fights. But this is definitely a team fight versus an objective control comp. Take the Lantern's going to have a strong ability if they want to contest an objective. It'll be readily available to them. Where Northern Storm's going to have to rely on engaging early and often.
Yeah, what do you think about just the overall team compositions there, Nickel?
I feel like Take the Lantern has a lot of mobility on their team. Oh, excuse me, not a lot of mobility. They're going to have a lot of map control over their team. Northern Storm has the mobility on their team. They're going to Take the Lantern is going to have to watch out. I mean, we said before, Shaken's split pushing is godlike. I feel like that they're going to try to get some objectives right away to maybe put them in a corner and put everybody else in a corner so that they don't have the ability to go out and lane. I feel like this might be an early end to the laning phase if they play their cards right. This is just me speculating out of my butt here, but I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see Pantheon going on people's faces. I mean, Malzahar does have the ability to stop him, but when you see a big Spartan running at you, it's kind of hard to do anything about it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is going to come down to how big that Spartan becomes. But also it's worth noting just how much CC there is on Take the Lantern side. I mean, they've got Sejuani, they've got Leona, they've got Pantheon, they've got Ziggs' knockbacks, and they've got Varus' ults. This is a team that if you get caught out, you are most likely dead if you run into any two combination.
I agree, but I have to point out that the picks of Xin Zhao and Malzahar are a very solid answer to an amount of CC the team Take the Lantern's running. They're going to be able to protect those late game carry that is Caitlyn. Well, give her the opportunity to become a late game carry. I don't foresee this being a very quick game, folks. I'm looking at 30-40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Malzahar, in just the fact that his passive exists, was a very good pick. Because now you can survive the initial engagement, the initial surprise gank, the initial stun. And for Take the Lantern's sake, I hope they have a follow-up for it and are keeping that passive in mind.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, I mean, top lane, like I said, top lane's really going to see how Pantheon manages to hold up against Shaken and Fat Lee's ganks. And of course, we've seen some good things out of Varus so far in this split. He's become, the new favorite. So we'll see if that continues here, or if Caitlyn and Braum manage to hold him up. But yeah, so as we head into the final 20 seconds or so, how about Ziggs versus Malzahar? I think that lane's going to go Nickel.
I feel like that we're going to see a slow laning phase with both of them. Just kind of getting. There's going to be some early aggression. I feel like that I might have to give this to the Malzahar though.
Okay.
Depending, it's a hard pickup. I feel like that Ziggs has a little bit more utility, and if the junglers do decide to show their mid lane some love, it'll probably get a little bit more interesting. Just really depending. I'm thinking it's going to be on how bad they're doing in the mid lane, but
All right.
no, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and we'll catch up with you after the game.
Yep, for sure.
All right, we'll move into the skin analysis here with me and Sig casting the first game for you guys. Ooh, nice selection of skins here.
Yeah, they really didn't stick with a single theme. It's more like a rainbow of accessories. I'm a big fan of Arctic Ops Varus, but you cannot deny the attractiveness of any of the project skins. And Boss Battle Ziggs, just one boss mother trucker.
If I was gonna pick a favorite out of there, I would have to give that to Northern Storm, if only because of how well Zin, Kled, and Caitlyn were all kind of matching there.
Accessorizing well does allow for a stronger laning phase. That's a pro tip for all our viewers out there.
Oh, I apologize to folks, my game just crashed, so hop back in there really quick.
Interestingly enough, the interview that you fine folks are going to be seeing later is a 1v1 that Commissioner Sig participated in, and his opponent, their game crashed, so he did perform very well. I hope you'll stick with us to see that later.
All right, making sure we're all still on the same page here. I'm at 30 seconds. What are you at?
32, so yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. Ooh, a little bit of invade down here, running right into the Leona. That's going to be a first blood.
Whoo! And not very good reaction time either.
Yeah, from either side. But really glad I was able to sign in time to see that, folks. Glad we didn't miss that first blood. Alright, and that did end up going on the Caitlyn. So that's going to be something to look out for with that extra bonus gold in the bot lane. Never what you want to see. Depending on what team you're on, I guess.
Yeah, that's one item under her belt that Varus is going to have to try and climb back up with.
Getting yelled at about scoreboard. I already did it. Oh, reverse gank now. Also kind of low attention, but good stun there. Really going to throw off Shaken's lane now.
I think they could have applied a lot more pressure in that engagement with him losing Scarl. They could have chased a little farther, but I understand the invade that they're going for right here.
For sure. I bet, if nothing else, Pantheon is somewhat regretting not getting his shield first. But we'll see. It's actually not turning out to be that big of a disadvantage for Shaken, just because Pantheon spent so much time helping Leash. We'll see if this gank they're trying works out. Once again, Pantheon does not have the stun. Might get the flash out here. We'll see. A lot of good damage there. Nope, doesn't get the flash out, but does manage to push it back. Really good team play here, coming out of Take the Lantern early.
Yeah, and they definitely penalized Shaken there, because Shaken used TP to get back to the lane after the original engagement. So if he goes back, it's even more CS that he's going to be losing.
Yeah, Shaken's taking a bit of a risk here, hanging out in the lane. Pantheon could really punish. Zin actually, meanwhile, is coming in for a gank himself. Looks like a lot of damage coming out here. Really good job with the flash, though, by the Varus. And Leona flashes as well. Does get a knock up on her, and probably going to go down here, and does. Alright, so a lot of action early. Varus getting pressured very hard.
Very large crossplay going across top v bottom lane with Take the Lantern applying pressure to the top where Fat Lee just could not stop himself. Too tantalizing not to eat that Leona.
Pantheon is level 3 now, so his damage output has now gone through the roof. We'll see if he takes advantage of it or not. Is getting a lot of poke in on Shaken. Of course, Shaken did get the benefit of his pet coming back. But things may have settled, at least for a moment here. Varus still somewhat hurt, but of course Leona's coming back with her shield now, so we'll be able to help heal that up.
Oh yeah, and you got to be careful with diving under this tower. Menard's Vein look tantalizing right now, but with the amount of CC, even just a level 2 Leona provides, very difficult. Lot of danger.
Ooh, 5 Loco does go in on Shaken. Shaken willing to exchange some of the fighting. Oh, pulls him under turret.
Very strong play by Shaken.
Yeah, excellent play there by Shaken. Saj coming in for a gank. Not really spotted, but good job moving back nonetheless by Caitlyn there. And that's probably going to be it. Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication actually. Saj going forward while the rest of her team falls back. So some extra damage that Toxic Cupcakes probably didn't want. Pantheon, meanwhile, is trying to go in on this level 5, but just like every time you go in against Kled, his pet returns at the worst possible moment. And that's 2 quick deaths for Pantheon.
Yeah, not an ideal start for him, especially when he's behind in CS. This is not going well for for Pantheon at all. 5 Loco really needs to play a little safe.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're a Pantheon, because Pantheon, his strength is in the early game, so you're losing early game, you're pretty much losing most of your strength as being Pantheon. But we'll see how he manages to, play a little safer, I imagine, in the next couple of levels. Just try to rebalance. Lose a lot of CS here, but should get a couple. Yeah, Menard's denied the recall there on Braum. And mid lane, like we were saying before, mid lane's a little, little calmer. Nothing too much exciting. We do see that Sigtao is up on CS by about 6. And a lot of damage going down still in the mid lane. Menards has decided not to go back yet. He has 1,200 gold currently. Looks like he's probably going to go back now, though. Get that first item.
BF sword incoming.
Meanwhile, Divi Titan is left to hold the tower. And
it is interesting. Go ahead.
Long recurve bow and boots.
Oh, very interesting.
BF sword equivalent, but
Yeah, I'm looking to match that attack speed because Caitlyn, Goonstomp, took that first blood and was able to convert it into a dagger. So that's definitely affected the laning phase for him so far.
And now BF sword comes out for Caitlyn. Meanwhile,
we do see gank top.
Yeah, 5 Loco's in a lot of trouble again. There's that Fat Lee aggression we were talking about earlier. Does try to flash for it, but there's no getting away from that chain. Cupcake's coming up, just trying to keep an eye on things. Drops a control ward, but it gets taken out immediately. And we see Ziggs teleporting back to lane with his first items as well.
I don't want to say a risk-free teleport, but a very solid choice with his ultimate being up now.
So we do have an Earth Drake as the first Drake, not necessarily one that has the highest priority, but the jungles have been so busy trying to gank and making plays elsewhere. I'm not surprised Dragon hasn't been taken yet.
Yeah, big benefit, but just not priority right now.
So we do have Sej close to bot lane. She is not near 6 though, so won't be coming in with any dramatic ultimates there. And there goes Kled back to base, buying more items, take further advantage of his lead. Looked like there might have been some thought to engage down there bot lane by Huge, but decides against it.
Toxic Cupcakes is getting more vision control by clearing out that bot lane ward, as well as warding the blue buff on the top side, Fatley's blue.
I was actually just about to suggest to Loco that he goes and kills that control ward that just spotted him heading down to try to gank mid lane. But doesn't seem like he managed to see it, and now he's going to get ambushed by Shaken. See if he manages to get away. Doesn't look like it. Kled dealing a huge amount of damage quickly there.
Yeah, I might want to reevaluate that trade he just took.
Alright, so Fatley blows a flash to win an invade here. Oh! Really good heads-up play there as well. Good job by Leona getting involved. Looks like Varus is going to try to fall back. I think Leona should get out alive. Yeah. Good try by the Ziggs to interfere rather, with that ultimate.
Yeah, with the use of his ultimate, he made sure that Fatley's not in a place where he could re-engage this.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth noting the score is currently 0-6 in favor of Northern Storm, so very dominant performance early here, and now Fatley's going to try a dive. Good tower aggro, though, and good ultimate. That should take him down. So good heads-up play there by Menards. Ultimates are blown. Trap is wisely put down there by Goonstomp. Almost got Menards as well. Looks like they're going to try to dive here. Alright. So with that, Take the Lantern is on board the scoreboard now. 1 kill to 8. But like I said, it could have almost been no kills if Menards had been paying attention enough to drop that ult when he did.
This is all going to play out. If this gold lead matters, it matters because of the 3 kills on Goonstomp right now. He's going to be able to convert that into a strong item advantage, but it is worth pointing out that these invades, these ganks in the top lane, have not converted into any objectives yet.
So bot lane does go down there, thanks in part, I'm sure, to the amount of damage that Goonstomp is putting out here. Shaken's trying to rush down top turret as well, focusing that instead of Pantheon. Pantheon tries to make him respected. And Pantheon will now be going back. Teleport is up for him, so he'll be able to return to lane quickly. Meanwhile, Toxic Cupcakes is coming in here trying to disrupt and or steal the dragon. A little mistimed there, unfortunately, and now they're going to get really good shot there by the Varus, but they're probably going to get taken out here because they weren't able to all move in as a unit.
Yeah, maybe should have waited for maybe his support and ADC to round that corner a little bit more so it would have been a team engage. Because when they trickled in there, it was very difficult for them to match that damage output the Goonstomp has right now.
Very unfortunate the Ziggs wasn't able to join in either the same way that Sigtal rotated down there. But we'll see. Pantheon's still having a little bit of trouble, significantly down in CS and, of course, kills. Sig, I can't hear myself on your headset.
Okay, 1 second. Better?
Yes. Well, we'll see.
All right.
But it sounds better, yes. Alright, so in this position, I'm thinking, like you said, need to necessarily refocus on objectives a little more, maybe try to get Rift Herald if you're Take the Lantern. What do you think?
I think they need to play into their comp a little bit more. They definitely have the ability to team fight, even with the 5k gold lead that's with them right now. It's just they're trickling into these engagements, so they're not able to capitalize on what they designed in Champ Select.
Yeah, and maybe also take advantage of the situations they're in their lanes. I mean, there's currently a 2v1 down there in the bot lane as we have a little bit of a lane swap going on here. So maybe Varus and Leona can try to push this a little bit more. Possibly get some damage onto that tower.
I can agree with that, and with the vision you have in the top lane right now, with this with this engagement that's going on, as we see 5 Loco trying to get back to tower, but he does go down. Kill going over to Goonstomp. Toxic Cupcake is in place. 2 kills going over to Goonstomp, giving him 5 kills, tied with Fatley. This is a commanding lead right now, folks. We're gonna have to see how Team Take the Lantern play out of this.
Yeah, I think, like you were saying before, there's a coordination issue. We saw just a few minutes before that fight another situation where Toxic Cupcakes tried to go in on a 2v1, possibly expecting team backup that just wasn't there. So really unfortunate that that is the way it played out. Hopefully we'll see something better out of them as the game goes on. Possibly, you know, even for the next game if that's what it takes.
We do see, looks like Ziggs did try to contest that Rift Herald with his ultimate, but the damage just wasn't there yet.
Yeah, Ziggs doesn't quite have the damage he probably wants to have. Staying pretty well up on farm, but just not quite in a position where he can deal huge damage with that ult yet.
No, looking at it, he is building towards, I think, a Morello's. And with a Blasting Wand and Lost Chapter right now, he's just not going to be able to do that damage. But maybe when he completes Morello's, it'll be a different situation.
Alright, Pantheon tried to ult mid lane, but Malzahar managed to avoid it relatively easily. So we'll see where Pantheon's going here. Looks like we got some rotations going down into the mid lane, but Northern Storm wants to push mid. So we'll see if they group up for that. And it looks like they will. Kled also waiting in the wings, most likely going to rush in if he needs to, or start that split pushing. So we will see how this goes. Ziggs is going back. Is low on mana, so that is possibly, you know, a wise call there. But we'll see how his team handles without him.
Now, he does have TP up, so he will be able to go in, but I think it'll be a little too late for that.
Ooh, Kled tries to sneak in the back, but gets caught out completely. Still probably going to end up losing their jungler there, but dealing some reasonable damage. A lot of damage going down this Pantheon. Both tanks now taken out. Big ultimate coming out of Huge, though, and they do manage to pick off that Braum. Maybe they can get some more? We'll see.
Very strong protecting from Chaos there, but he stayed a little bit too long after that Ziggs ultimate.
Yeah, we're seeing part of the problem of having a 0-4 Pantheon right now is that he doesn't really provide too much in the way of presence in these team fights and really ends up just having to run back after being in a skirmish for more than a few seconds.
Yeah, you don't want to pick a carry top laner and then be in the position that he's in right now.
Nice attempt there by Huge to steal blue buff, but just a second too late there. Yeah, so at this point, it kind of seems like Take the Land's in a position where they're hoping that they're able to just stall out so that Huge can pick them off with the artillery in the back line, which is an effective strategy. It's just one that they need to work on maintaining. It's nice to see how the fight did swing back into their favor once Huge did return, and I hope that he manages to stick around in more fights in the future.
I think that's what we're going to see happening. As he's able to get more solid, get a few items under his belt, it's going to be there.
He did go for Luden's Echo first complete item there. Luden's Echo also on Mal's for Sigtao, so both very similar there. And a Cloud Drake is about to spawn, so we'll see how both teams react to that.
It's going to be very difficult for Take the Lantern. If we take a look at the ward presence right now, 100% of their wards are in their own jungle, while Team Northern Storm do have some wards in Take the Lantern's jungle. They're going to have vision if they're going to try and counter this Drake, and I just don't think that they're going to be able to.
Also, we do see Fat Lee moving through and de-warding some as well while placing their own wards. So really good 3 wards put down in that motion there by Fat Lee and Chaosix.
Yeah, very strong solution to a objective-focused team like Take the Lantern have.
And now they're going to cone over. So not only do they get all of the wards in, but they take out half the way that Take the Lantern could respond. Ult does come in. Gets a reasonable hit off. Once again, just a second too late, though, unfortunately, for Huge.
Yeah, this early in the game, I don't think that Ziggs will deal enough damage for the smite to not matter.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes there. Good ultimate there by the Varus, and good follow-up there by the Leona. But unfortunately, Varus ran for it and left Leona hanging. That's probably the backup support problem we were discussing earlier. Good play there by Menard, slowing the Xin down. Doesn't manage to take him out, but Ziggs comes in to try to help. Pantheon coming as well. Doesn't look like his ult is going to impact too much, though.
They will be able to stop the push, but I don't think that they're going to be able to answer this. Fat Lee is just going to be able to regen very quickly.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Braum and Malzahar are pushing mid. Ult coming in, though, does manage to pick off most of the minions, so that push is going to be stopped as well. But bot lane is now getting counter-pushed. And here we see, you know, that good split pushing that Northern Storm is known for.
Yeah, just solid map control right now.
And everyone going home. Alright, so a 10k gold lead now. Looks like we might be having a little bit of a shorter game 1. But hopefully Take the Lantern is learning from this so that they can do a better showing in game 2. A little bit more on the coordination side, I think, and they'll do just fine.
Yeah, they still have threat. As long as they can take this into the late game, you're going to be able to see the opportunity for a turnaround. Right now, we do have the Black Cleaver completed on Pantheon, so he is much more of a threat right now, especially with the lethality there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. If they can catch out like this Caitlyn, for example, if they could catch this Caitlyn, that would be a really good play for them. But with the lack of wards, they don't see that she's in that position. A lot of pinging going down here. Looks like they're calling out that the ADC and support are in the bot lane, so that allows Northern Storm to push very effectively. It's also worth noting that Take the Lantern doesn't have any towers yet either, so that's unfortunate.
Just a very difficult early laning phase for Team Take the Lantern, but late game, that's when they're going to shine.
Alright, another big Zigzalt coming in here. Almost managed to take out the Xin again, but fortunately for Northern Storm, the tower does go down, so everyone survives. They manage to pick up 5 Locoatic and Toxic Cupcakes there. So now it is a 3v5. Menard's coming in. Good ultimate there. Might root all 3, and it does. Amazing ultimate coming out of Leona, too. They're going to get possibly 3 kills here. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. Alright. Great show there by Take the Lantern.
That was the team fight that they built for. Really being able to counter these engagements. So incredible job by Team Take the Lantern putting their first step forward towards a comeback.
Yeah, and great combination of ultimates as well from Die by Titan and Menards, able to lock down those 3 characters and then land a good Leona AoE on them as well. I would honestly like to see them try for Baron here. They have their jungler up. It's a 3v5, or at least it was until just now. And once you win an engagement like that, it's more than likely that the rest of their team is going to be going back. In fact, it seems like that's what they're thinking for Northern Storm. That Northern Storm might be thinking that Take the Lantern's doing that because they immediately had Dord Baron. But fortunately, perhaps for Take the Lantern, they aren't there.
Yeah, at this point, if they would have tried to pull that at the late state that they had, it would have just been a leash for Fat Lee. Very difficult situation that they're climbing out of right now.
Alright, and so we did see Kled trying to split push there, but good job by the bot lane of Take the Lantern holding that off. Kled has returned home, and so now it is a bit of a 5v4 situation here, though Kled's ult, of course, gets you back in lane really quickly. We'll see if they try to do anything with it. They are all kind of grouped up. A good ultimate or 2 could really shake this up for Take the Lantern. But it looks like they get spotted, so they're just going to fall back. Fall back and farm, fall back and farm.
I think if Take the Lantern are able to see this Kled in the top lane, they should immediately go for the engagement right now.
Yeah, a good Pantheon ult would be really helpful for them here. But unfortunately, Toxic Cupcakes gets a little bit of chip damage on her there. And again, the lack of wards is really hurting them because they don't know necessarily what they're walking into. They just know Kled is top lane.
And it's not that they're not placing wards, it's the fact that Fat Lee and Chaos are just doing such a good job controlling vision.
Alright, Kled is split pushing now, and now in more of a position to come in from the back if they do try and engage. And wards being cleared out. Collapsing on Kled right now would not be the worst play in the world.
Looks like they may be considering it. but a little bit too late,
All right,
maybe.
so Kled ults toward the mid lane, runs headfirst into the Varus. Varus, however, manages to take a couple of hits, and while they're chasing Kled, the rest of his team is taking Baron. Really good coordination here coming out of Northern Storm. And now some panic coming out of Take the Lantern, making them once again kind of run in there. Really good attempt by Toxic Cupcakes to try to steal the Baron. Good flash by Shaken to get away from the counter attack. And it looks as though it's going to be a 3v5 here. Pantheon, are you going to get away? Pantheon is not going to get away. And enough slows being put down so that Fat Lee can get in there. But fortunately for Menards and Die by Titan, they managed to get back to under their tower.
Yes, very good disengage there at the end. It's just a shame the whole team couldn't come with them. Next time, bring your passport, folks. We do see Leona go down to Caitlyn. Goonstomp continuing his domination. Right now, 9-1-8.
Yeah, now we're getting the attempts to close out the game here. Really empowered Baron buff on a 16k lead team. Kind of hard to stop that, but they're going to give it their best shot, I'm sure. Ziggs is up, so might be able to put down some of that CC. A lot of damage as well. Snipe coming down. Unfortunately, has not managed to be blocked there. Pantheon not really dealing any damage, but does scare Shaken off for a moment. But just this onslaught of gold-infused champions is really preventing any sort of major attempt at a defense, and Fat Lee is just soloing a turret.
Yeah, we saw this just steamroll from the get-go with Die by Titans just not being able to escape from that first blood that went over to Caitlyn, and Goonstomp was just able to continue the snowballing as it went, just rolling downhill.
Yeah, so really strong performance from literally the first minute onwards coming out of Northern Storm there. And hopefully we'll see Take the Lantern be able to mount a comeback of sorts in the second game. I mean, from like we said, from the invade onwards, it was just Northern Storm's game there.
It was a difficult play, but it is worth pointing out there were some strong performances on both teams.
Oh, yes.
We did see Ziggs and Varus lead their team in damage at 10k and 12k respectively. But it's just so difficult to counter. Right now, Goonstomp did 17k damage, and of that, 14k was total physical damage. So you didn't have to rely on crits. It was just solid build. So we'll just have to see if they aim to counter that. I think we're going to see a Caitlyn ban next game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to go to a quick break. We'll hear some reaction from Nickel as well when we get back from that. And as we wrap this up, just a quick reminder, the general stuff, liking, subscribing. If you did do a Twitch Prime, for starters, we appreciate that. Also, it is something that needs to be refreshed every month as a quick reminder there. So yeah, we'll go to a quick break and be right back for the second game of Take the Lantern versus Northern Storm. Please stay tuned.